So, shall we start, sir?
Yes, sir. Please, sir. Go ahead.
Welcome to members and students, and we are going to have one more session on the Excel. Without any waste of much time, I hand over the proceedings to Sharon, sir. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Hi, friends. Good evening. Thank you, Chairman, sir, for the great workshop. In fact, after that, I got many messages from the people. Now they started asking me the questions from the previous sessions. So even the participation is maybe 50 or 60, but I'm sure these all are repetitive audience. I can find from the questions what they are asking.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for a great workshop. Friends, welcome you all to the 6th day in the 25-day program. So in today's session, I'm going to talk on the conditional functions. In fact, one of the very important set of functions. Today, we're going to cover about almost 6 to 7 functions, more elaborate. It's not that I'm just going to talk about a function, because the conditional functions like Sumif and Sumifs, Countifs are the most important functions, because when you have a huge data, be it in reconciliation, maybe in the GST or income tax, you need to sum the values based on a criteria or more than one criteria. If that is the case, we must have a function which can sum all the values or count all the values or average all the values based on a specified criteria. So I'll be talking about today's session for almost 1.5 hours into the Sumif function. But as promised, every week, first 15 minutes or 20 minutes, you are having a assessment test. In fact, I am ready with the assessment test questions with you. I request everyone, I'm just going to give you the message in the chat box. I request everyone, please participate in the assessment test. This assessment test is having 10 questions. So I pasted into the chat box. I request everyone, please open this and start participating into the assessment test. This assessment test is on day 5 material. In fact, 5th week, I was talking about the date functions. In fact, we have covered a very elaborate function set. Almost I've covered 15 to 20 different functions in the date category. So considering that week working notes, I made some 10 questions assessment test. I request everyone, please open the link which I have shared in the chat box and started answering the questions. After your submission, you can get the grade, how many marks you got it, and it's going to give you what is the correct answer and what is the wrong answer. However, after the assessment test, I will also answer the questions and I'll explain you each and every question, what is the answer. Then we'll go into the today's session. I request every participant, please participate in the assessment test. And also I request from Vijayawada branch, someone can copy this link and paste it to the YouTube live also, so that more members can participate.
Okay, sir.
I request everyone, please submit your responses. I have asked 10 questions. I have already given the link in the chat box of the Zoom meeting. All these 10 questions are based on the date functions. However, 1 or 2 questions I asked it from the first 5 sessions, first 4 sessions. Please take your time, try to understand the question very carefully. Anirban Sen, I have already shared the link. I'm sure just below your message, my link is there. Yeah, numbers started submitting this test. As of now, no one got 10 out of 10. Tushar Kumar, yeah. Please don't look into your marks, just look into the answers and questions. Once I give the explanation, probably you can correlate or you can compare why you are going wrong. First two questions almost has given correct answer. 90% numbers has given correct answer. As of now, Lakshmi Teja and Rakesh Shah got 9 out of 10. Highest marks. Yeah, Tushar, I'll explain again. I'll start my session by explaining E date and EO month again. Don't worry. Rajat, I just shared the link. please open the link and start it submitting. Friends, at 6:20 we will close it, and I'll start answering the questions. Then we'll go into the today's topic. So you have another 10 minutes. Whoever just joined in the session, maybe whoever just joined in the YouTube, you can look into the live chat. Already Vijayawada branch shared one link. I request you to open the link. There are 10 questions on the last week's session. So I request you guys to answer all the 10 questions, so that you can assess on your own where you are. Hi Mithilesh, good evening. Till now I got 32 submissions. Out of 32, only Shashank Jain got 10 out of 10, and two members got 9 out of 10, Rakesh Shah and Lakshmi Teja. I request other members also quickly submit your assessment test. Yeah, almost 40 members submitted. Last 5 minutes. Okay, friends, let me share the answers with you so you can probably cross check whoever gone wrong. Let me give my name, CS Saran Kumar U Saran at excelism.in. Okay, so the first question is a very basic question, but the most important question. Date is a dash value type. It's a number value type. 99% of the numbers given correct answer for this. Second question. Now function in MS Excel results not just the time, not just the date. It by default give you time along with the date. Third question. We can create the random numbers. We all know it, right? This is very important function to generate the random data. Especially this is useful to have a sampling in our audit. The question is, but we can't create random dates using random between. That is false. Because as I already mentioned, date is nothing but a number. Since date is nothing but a number, random between is having two arguments. One is the bottom number, the other one is the top number. You take the bottom date, then the top date. Let's say if you have all the dates, 365 days, and out of the sampling, you would like to look into 15 to 20 days data. If that is the case, I request you to take random between 1st April 2019, comma 31st March 2020. So that once you copy paste for 30, it's going to give you 30 days. Then out of the invoices, maybe you can have a VLOOKUP invoice numbers happened on those days. Then you can have a sampling. So this is more of scientific sampling. Tomorrow, even if you get a call from the regulator, you are in a position to explain him the methodology around your sampling. Otherwise, instead, if you take directly without having any function or a formula, maybe the regulator may not believe. You need to put a lot of time to convince him. But when you have a data, when you have the formulas in place, when you have proper steps in place, I'm sure he can easily understand. So the question is, you can even generate the random dates by using the random between. Which of the following function has more than one argument? Year function has only one argument, that's a serial number. R function is only having one argument, that is the time. Month function is having only one argument, that is nothing but the serial number, that's nothing but a date. Whereas the weekday function is having two arguments, out of which one is mandatory, the second one is optional. I hope you all remember weekday function give us the week number. In a week, let's say for example, there are by default it takes from Sunday through Saturday 1 through 7. If a particular day is Monday, then my result is 2. If a particular day is Saturday, my result is 7. Second argument is an optional argument stating that you can define your own serial numbers for the week. For example, if you want to start from Monday, you want to end with Saturday, Sunday as a 7. So 1 to 7. Then you can select the second argument. So out of all these functions, only the function having more than one argument is the weekday function. Text function is converting any value into this format. I want to get into the format of that means month in 2 digits, DD, day number in 2 digits, YYYY, that means year in 4 digits. This is nothing but my date. That's the reason I kept in a date function. Which date it is? This is 7th May 2010. But out of 7th May 2010, is 05, DD is 07, this is 2010. is 05. So 07 2010. This is the correct answer. Almost 80% of the members that has given wrong answer, they have selected this. Let's come to the next one. EDate function adds the number of months. I intentionally excluded one point because I thought while practicing you'll get to know. In fact, that is what I have given. When you give EDate function, take what is the date and give a number, how many months you want to go forward. For your information, if the second argument, if I take +5 or 5, that means it will add 5 months. If I put minus, then it will go backward. If I put 1, it will go forward 1 month. If I put -1, it will go backward 1 month. As simple as it. So in this case, if I go backward 5 months, my answer is 7th September 2009. Again, almost 60 to 70% of the members has given wrong answer for this. They have given the answer this one. And many members, because -5 is there, they thought it is wrong and they have selected number, which is wrong. So in this case, -5 means from this date, I need to go backward 5 months. Now, this returns what? Can anyone tell what this function returns? When I give 1, it's very simple. 1st May 2010. When I put 2, 2nd May 2010. When I put 0, because 0 is backside of 1. That means 1 day previous to the 1st May. So 30th April 2010 is my answer. Again, many people selected in this case either value error or number. Actually, when you put 0, then you got an answer as a last day of the previous month. Syntax of the date diff function. In fact, this is my mistake. There must be D here. Okay. But anyway, you understood because I have written here date diff. As I told you, date diff function is not part of your Excel in the drop down, but it is there at the back end. Because of the technical reasons, Microsoft Excel removed this function from the front end, but at the back end, there is a function called date diff. It gives you the difference between 2 dates. I can give the start date, then I can give the end date, then I have to give the difference code. I have covered almost 6 codes. One is Y, means it's going to give you the completed years. M, it's going to give you completed months. D, it's going to give you completed days. If you put YM, months after years. YD, days after years. If you put MD, days after months. So those all are the 6 codes in the double quotation I have to use. So let me select this as a correct answer. There may be a lot of confusion for the people whether it is first end date then start date or first start date then end date. Okay, first it is start date, then it is end date. Network days function talk about the difference of working days between 2 dates. It considers by default Saturday and Sunday both as the weekends. In this case, I asked the question, network days function considered by default Sunday as the weekend, which is false because by default it considers Saturday and Sunday. But Mr. Sharan, if I want to consider only Sunday, what I need to do? That's the reason in 2010 version they introduced a function called networkdays.intl, means international. Okay. So last question, what is the answer if the formula refer to a blank cell? I told you on the second day session that the difference between a space cell, blank text cell, and a blank cell. If you refer to a cell having a space, your result is also a space. If you refer to a cell having a blank text, your result is also a blank text. But if you refer to a cell which is a blank cell, then your answer is actually 0. Many people has given wrong answer for this. They have selected blank, but it's not a blank cell. If you refer to a blank cell, your answer is always 0. Let me submit. Let me check my score. It has to be 10 out of 10 because I have given all the answers which are correct. If anyone having any questions on this, I request all participants, please keep in mute. Yeah. Okay, so let me go ahead. This is what the assessment test, and thank you so much for your great participation. Let me share the screen. Yeah. Now let me open one Excel file. Yeah. As promised, as scheduled, today's session is on conditional functions. Let me open one blank Excel file. It's getting opened at the back end. Have a patience. Yeah. Let me save this file as conditional functions. Don't worry, I'm going to share this Excel file. Just give me 2 minutes. After the session, as usual in the group, I'm going to share the material with you all. Conditional functions. Friends, throughout today's session, I'm going to use this Excel file. I request very active participation for this session. I request very active participation for this session. You can answer during the session also the questions which I'm going to ask. Friends, in today's session, I'm going to talk on conditional sum functions. Let's put the conditional functions. The functions which I'll be talking are Tushar, I forget. Let me start with e-date and evo month. One question asked by Tushar. Let's say, for example, Tushar equal to today. What I'm going to get? Today's date. I want to add 5 months to this date equal to e-date. This is what my start date, and these are the number of months I want to add. If I add 5 months, it's going to take me, after adding 5 months, what would be the date? So if I convert this into the format 31st March 2021. Now let me make a random dates here. Random between date of 2010-1-1, then comma, date of 2019-12-31st. Can numbers please answer what will come if I enter? Could you please put in the chat box what may appear if I click enter? I have taken random between. I have taken 2 arguments. Instead of the first argument, I have taken one more function. As the second argument, I have taken one more function. Bottom number 2010-1-1, top number 2019-12-31st. I'll get some date between 1st January 2010 and I'll be between and 31st December 2019. Let me enter. See, you got a random date. So let me put F9. So from this date, if I add 5, this is what my end date. Okay, this is what my future date. Say it out. 26th November 2018. If I add 5 months, this is what my answer. The e-date function is simple that it's going to add the number of months. For example, instead of making a positive, let me make it negative. Then what will happen? It will take backward. January 2016, if I go 5 months back, I'll reach to 2015 August. That's the meaning of it. Whereas the meaning of evo month is that it's going to add number of months. It is exactly the same. What is the function? What are the arguments I have taken for e-date? But now it will take me to the end of the month. If I enter, Let me convert this into the date format. Understand the difference between these two. Anyway, this is the end of the month. Exactly after 5 months, this and this both are same because my date itself is end of the month. For example, let me put F9, 6th April 2015. Now, if I go 5 months back, it has taken me November 6th, 2014. Obviously, because if I go 5 months back, November 6th. But because I have used EVO month, this result end of the month is this. If I put 5, check it out, 2011 November, if I add 5 months, it is April 26th. End of the month is 30th April. I hope Rakesh, who asked this question, you got answer for the difference between Tushar. Tushar, I hope you got the clarification with respect to E-date and EVO month. Sir, can E-date be used to change date also? What do you mean by that? E-date is very simple. You can add the number of months. I did not understand your question. What do you mean by change date means? Only months. You can. That's what I said. You can change the months. But for example, if I put, let me copy paste special value. If I put 15, right? Even the year also will change. So it's going to add 15 months. So 2012, then November 26th is the, after adding 12 months. So after 3 months, it will be taken into the future date. Can we change the days in E-date? Not possible. Not possible. E-date function, EVO month function, both are meant for the months, not for the days. Nandishwaran. Yeah. Let me go back into my today's session. Sir, how to get next value in rand between formula? No. Rand between means, Lakshmi Teja, it's going to give you some random number. You cannot tell to the Excel what it has to give. It is by default a random number. No clue. If you say 2 numbers, it's going to give you 2 numbers. That's all. You got the point? Lakshmi Teja? Yeah. So let's come back to the today's session on the conditional functions. In today's session, I'm going to talk on these are the functions: Sumif function, Sumifs function, then Countif function, Countifs function, average function, average ifs function, max if function, max ifs function, min ifs function. For your information, these all functions are there from 2003, version 2003. This is there in Office 365. Of course, version 2000. Okay, let me put this is there in version 2019. Okay, Office 365 anyway it will be there because it's the latest. Don't worry. Though I have written so many functions, you need not to learn every function, because once you know any set, remaining all functions are very simple to understand. Sumif function returns the sum of the values based on the criteria, whereas Sumif's function exactly does the same, but based on one or more criteria. Sumif function only takes one criteria. It supports only one criteria, whereas Sumif supports more than one criteria. So along with one criteria. So if you know Sumifs, you need not to learn Sumif function. Okay, so Countif function exactly does the same. It returns the count of the values, count of the numbers, okay, count of the values based on the criteria. Now, count of the values based on one or more criteria. Average is exactly same. It returns the average of the values based on the criteria. This is also exactly the same. Average Ifs function, uh, average of the values based on one or more criteria. There is no function called max if and min if, because Excel understand in the later versions that anyway max if itself is supporting one criteria and also more criteria. What is the need of having max if function? So directly it's a max if function. It returns the maximum value out of the values based on a criteria. Okay, based on one or more criteria. You can understand where we can use this practically. Okay, I'm just giving you a text. Don't worry, for every function I'll explain very elaborate. Minifs function is, it returns the minimum value out of the values based on one or more criteria. These are all of the functions I'm going to talk today. Let me start with the Sumif function. Friends, let me put this as a functions list. And this is the explanation of the previous session. Let me move this as a first sheet. Yeah. Now let me insert. This is a case study for the Sumif function. Friends, I generally don't come with the prepared example, because if I prepare the example readily, you may always concentrate on the data what is there inside than the result. So before you, I would like to prepare the data. I request you also prepare the data on your own, so that next time onwards when you want to practice something, within 2 minutes you are in a position to prepare your own data. So let me take a company, area, date, amount. As I told you in the last session, I make sure that in every data what I take as an example, text must be there, date must be there, number must be there, so that these three having different characteristics, so that I can use all the characteristics inside. So that's the reason I have taken company, area. This is the date column, this is the amount column. Now let me take a couple of companies here. I'll take the Swiggy, I'll take Zomato, I'll take Fasus, I'll take Food Panda, I'll take Uber Eats. Okay, so I want to copy paste the same data below. So you can simply select it, put the corner, keep the cursor at the corner, right side bottom, then you drag this down. Since it's not a sequence, it will by default copy paste. So let me drag till 500 records. So let me just go down till 500. I almost nearby. Yes. 499 records, these all are, if I remove the header. Now area I want to take east, west, south, north. Now you need not to drag these below. Why? Excel is such a smart. If I double click this plus symbol, if the left column is having the data till the data what it has, till that point it will copy paste this data. Check it out. If you go to the bottom, exactly it copy pasted till the left column. Now I want to have random date. So what I can do, I can select this entire column. If you observe, to select this entire column, what I have taken, if you select this column, it's very simple. Control Shift down arrow, exactly till the data it has selected. But if I want to select from here till the last cell, Shift down arrow, down arrow, down arrow, it takes a lot of time. Otherwise, I need to put Shift, page down, page down, page down. Again, it takes a lot of time. So for which what I have taken, I went to the previous column. I used a shortcut Control down arrow. Then I came to the right column. Then I have used a shortcut Control Shift up arrow. Then I don't want the heading, right? So Shift down arrow. Now I use a tab. Why you need to use the tab? Because as of now, my active cell is the last cell. I want to go to the first cell. So after the last cell, if I put a tab, it will come to the first cell. But if I make it a little faster, you know what I do? Left, right, down, select this tab. It will not take more than 1 second, because I explained you, it looks like I did a lot of things. But when you know how to use the shortcuts, it is very simple. So let me select in this way. Now, what is an advantage of doing this? If I write any formula here, let me write a random between. I want to make a random date, 2010, 1, date of 2019, 12, 31st. Normally, if you copy paste, you need to enter this, you need to copy this formula, paste entirely below. Instead, what I'm doing, I can use a shortcut called Control plus Enter. If I do Control plus Enter, the same formula will be pasted into the selected area. Let me do Control plus Enter. So if I do Control plus Enter, the same formula appeared everywhere. Let me change this to the short date. Friends, F9 is the shortcut to calculate the sheet. Let me tell you an important rule in Excel. If you make Excel active, every formula in Excel will recalculate. Because of this reason, if you have a sheet having so many formulas, even sometimes you just enter one formula and enter, click enter. At the bottom in the taskbar, you will get a message processing 1%, 2%, 3%. We always surprise why it is taking a lot of time even I entered one single formula. Let me tell you a rule that when you make Excel active, every formula in your Excel workbook calculates, right? Every formula recalculate. Even you write one formula and click enter, because you are executing a formula, that means you are activating your Excel. Since you are activating your Excel, every formula will recalculate. In this case, if I put F9, F9 is to recalculate. F9, F9. So when I keep on pressing F9, the dates are randomly changing, because when it goes a random between, every time it gives a different random number. But I don't want these numbers to change. What I need to do, copy this, paste special values, click OK. Even if I go down, I want to see my headings. I already covered in the previous session. Go to the view tab, freeze pane, freeze top, so that even if you go down, still you can see the top. Now I want to have a random dates. So what I need to do, random amounts, random between 100 to 1000. Copy paste special values. Why? I don't want the values to change if I copy and paste. This is the way I have prepared the example. If anyone having any question, you can put in the chat box quickly for 1 minute. Any question in preparing the example? Yeah. This is until now I have only prepared the example. Don't worry. Otherwise, you can simply copy paste this data and you can start working on. I went a little faster because this is all I have covered in the previous session itself. This is 6th day session. You all should understand. No problem. I will try my level best to go a little slow. Friends, to make my reference simple, what I can do, now let me go to grand total first. If I want to get the grand total, what I need to do, equal to sum. There are 3 ways you can have a grand total. Sum of, you can select D2, Control Shift down arrow, so that it takes to the last cell having the values, close bracket. So obviously I'll get the total of the entire 499 records. This is the value. There is one more way you can get, that is nothing but equal to sum. What I can do, I can simply select D colon D. I am sure that below D500th cell, there is no value. Even if I select D colon D, nothing will happen. But my request, don't select the entire column while you are working with the sum function, because if any other data below this data, those values also will get added into this formula. But in this case, I'm 100% sure there is no data below 500th record, so it will give you the same answer. Let me give the comma format with the 0 decimal. Now, there is one more way through which you can get the same answer. Now, what I can do, I told you already the meaning of the defined name. Now, I kept my cursor at D2, select till the last cell, Control Shift down arrow. So, Control Shift down arrow. So, it has selected from D2 till D500. Now, I want to give a defined name for this. I want to give a name as a sales. Enter. So now D2 colon D500 is having a name called sales. That's a pet name. Now let me go here. Let me put sum. Let me give the name as a sales. So the advantage of this is this formula is self-explanatory that user would like to sum the values of the sales defined name. If I want to know where is the sales, it's very simple. I can go to my, let me go to the name box. In the drop down, are you finding sales? Let me select this. It got selected. Now let me go here. Let me select this. Very quickly, let me give a defined name as a date. So to make it small, okay, let it be date. Now let me go here. Let me select this. Let me give a defined name as a area. Now let me go here. Let me select this. Let me give a defined name as a company. Friends, I did nothing except I created 4 defined names. One is the company. This is nothing but A2 colon A500 range. Then the second one is area B2 colon B500. Then the third one is date C2 colon C500. Then the fourth one is sales. That is nothing but D2 colon D500. The advantage of this is next time whenever I would like to select this column, I can simply write company instead of writing A2 colon A500. As simple as it. Now let me look into the question. Sir, how to count the total number of sheets in a workbook using the formula? Vinod Agrawal, we are going out of the topic. Okay, however, please remind me, maybe end of the session or I'll cover those functions a little later. So there is a function called sheets. Probably you can use it. Mithilesh, sir, please repeat. What if any additional row is inserted in between the defined names? Nothing will happen. Let me insert one more row, Kasturi. Now, if I take a defined name, it automatically add that one also. Let's select the company. Now, if you go to the down, it has taken till A501. Check it out. That's an advantage. But if you put anything at the bottom after this, it will not be automatically added into the defined name. So I hope you got the point, customer. Now let me give all the formula text here so that you can also understand what I have written. Copy and paste. But this is not the one I'm interested in today's session. I'm more interested if you ask me a question, Mr. Saran, could you please give me the total for Swiggy? There are 5 companies. I don't want the total for everything because that's very simple. We are following since many years. What is the formula you write to get the total of only Swiggy company? Okay, friends, I don't want to explain directly the function because as you know, my sessions are more of logical. First, let us try to understand the logical part of this. In a plain language, if I want to explain sum the values, if the company is equal to Swiggy, do you agree with me? Yes. Now, if I give the same data on the paper to you, manually, what are the methods we need to follow? Could you please tell me? If I am not wrong, manually we follow these methods. We look into the company column. Do you agree with me? Yes. I said on the paper, you will not have filter on the paper, Suryakant. So the second step is we look for the Swiggy criteria. Do you agree with me? Yes. Then third one, we pick or we'll select or we sum the respective value in the sales column. Yes or no? This is if I explain you in the plain language. We look into the company column for Swiggy criteria. We sum the values, we sum the respective value in the sales column. Friends, function is nothing but a program at the back end. When you enter, a program execute and it gives you the answer. But if you want to execute a program, you should give the parameters. Those parameters, we call it as the arguments. Arguments are nothing but the minimum parameters which are required to calculate a particular program. Simple. In this case, if I want to do this job, company column is the minimum one. I should even give it to the Excel in the function. Yes. Once I give the company column, I should also tell to the Excel what is the criteria. Yes. Once I tell to the Excel what is the column, what is the criteria, I should also tell to the Excel which column values it has to sum. So there are three inputs which I need to give it to the Excel. One is the criteria range, the other one is the criteria, the other one is the sum range. Now let us look into the function called SUMIF. Concentrate everyone. If you look into this function, there are three arguments. Range, nothing but a criteria range, criteria, sum range. So what is the criteria range? Could you please put in the chat box the answer? What is the criteria range? It's a column. A column, I have already given a defined name. What is a defined name? It's a company. Second argument I need to enter. What is this argument? Criteria. What is the criteria? Swiggy, comma. Now Excel is asking Sharon, okay, you have given me a company column and you have given also the criteria. Could you please tell me which column values I need to sum? That is the sales column values. Let me tell you in a very plain language to the Excel that Excel, could you please look into the company column for this criteria and total the values in this column. If I enter, it has to give me the correct answer. Don't confuse. Now, if I take another 4 values, if I copy and paste below, this total must equal to my grand total, not even one mistake. Absolutely the correct total, we got it. See it out. Now, what I have done, I have taken another 4 companies below this company, the same formula I copy pasted. One more advantage of giving a defined name is if you don't give the defined name, if you directly take A2 colon A500, you have to give the dollar symbols for that. Because if I copy and paste, that range should not change. Because I have taken a defined name, yeah, I'll do that. Because I have taken a defined name, I need not to give any dollar symbol because defined name by default having a absolute cell reference. Let me explain you all the function again. Concentrate. Now equal to SUMIF. Because it is a conditional sum function, sum the values based on a criteria. What is the first argument? Criteria range. That means in which column you should look for. I need to look into the column of company. For what value? Swiggy, comma. Now Excel also at the back end tick those values. Now what column values you have to sum? Sales column. Look into the company column for Swiggy and the total the values in the sales column. Let me enter. Now these all 4 companies, instead of me typing, I'm just copying and pasting. Let me copy paste this formula below. I'll get the correct answers. Just to prove whether it is correct or wrong, I've taken a grand total of all these 5 companies. I got the correct answer. Now I'll simply copy this. I'll display the formulas for you. Tushar, I hope you got the point. If anyone having any question, please let me know. Don't worry, I'll explain again the mathematics at the back end, how it happens. Yeah. Now, friends, everything at the back end is a maths. I asked this question on the 3rd day that everyone, in fact, confirmed me that you have cleared 2nd standard maths. I'm sure everyone cleared 2nd standard. At the back end of the Excel, everything is a simple maths what we learned in our school days. You know what is a math it is doing at the back end? A very simple math. Have a look. As I told you, it will look into the company column, right? For Swiggy. So what Excel does, Excel cross-check every value here, whether it is equal to Swiggy or not. It cross-check. Could you please put in the chat box, what is the answer if I ask the question, whether Swiggy is equal to Swiggy? Excel cross-check at the back end. Is Swiggy equal to this Swiggy? What is the answer? Could you please put in the chat box? Yes, Kasturi, you are absolutely right. The answer is true. There is no yes or no in Excel. Excel is only having true or false. Since Swiggy is equal to Swiggy, the answer is true. True into the respective sales column value 696. At the back end, it's stored in the memory 696. Right? Now, is Zomato equal to Swiggy? False. False into 769. It stored in the memory at the backend. Something false into something is 0. Is false equal to Swiggy? False. False into something is 0. False into something is 0. False into something is 0. Again true. True into 278 is 278. False into something is 0. False into something is 0. So since wherever Swiggy is there, that value it will take it. Remaining all values it will make it as a 0. It will sum all those values stored in the memory. That is nothing but my Swiggy total. A simple maths. Now, let's say if there is no Sumif function in MS Excel. Let's say Microsoft Excel Sumif function is not there. In Microsoft Excel, this function is not there. Then what is the method you follow to get the total? Simple. I'll do the same maths on my own. I'll take the Swiggy here. I'll ask the same question. Cross check whether this is equal to Swiggy. This one. What is the answer? Could you please put in the chat box? Simple. If both are matching true, if not false, enter. Because I have given a dollar symbol, this is standard, but this is a relative. If I enter, copy and paste below, all are false except the Swiggy. Say down till the start to end. Now what I'll do? Simple. I'll just multiply this into this. Could you please put in the chat box what is the answer if I multiply D2 into E2? D2 with E2? 696. Now what I'll do? I just selected the corner. Let me put double click so that I got copy pasted. So everywhere it is 0 except the place where it is having a number. Now what I'll do? I'll put at the back end the sum function on the top. Simple. This is nothing but this. So I got the same answer. Now if I go and change this to Zomato, obviously wherever Zomato is there, that comes true. Remaining all are false. If that becomes true, this value will come, the Zomato value, that total will come. If I make it Fasus, that will come. If I make it Food Panda, that also come. As simple as it. I'm not just giving you a function how it works. I'm trying to explain you. Some product is complementary function. Yeah, I do understand the Srinivasan. I yet to talk about the array functions. When I talk about the array function, I'll talk about how we are going to solve this using some product or sum as an array function. Thank you so much for the input. I'll talk about it a little later. Okay, because the argument in the sum product is array 1, array 2. If they want to understand arrays, first I need to cover the basics of it. Okay, so this is the way at the backend it works. If anyone having any question, understanding the backend recipe of the Sumif function, please let me know. However, as of now, this is not required because anyway, I know the logic at the backend, how it works. Very good. Now let me go down. Now I'll ask a couple of questions, a bunch of questions. Friends, equal to sum. Please answer this question. Please answer for this question. I'll look into the company column. For Swiggy, let me total the values in the sales column. If I enter, what is the answer? Do you think it's going to give you the same answer? 55435? Yes. Same answer. Wow. Everyone are correct. So what Excel is doing here, understand very carefully. What Excel is doing here, because I have taken Swiggy in the double quotation, it has considered this as a constant. Wonderful. Now, let me enter, let me take the Swiggy. Now the same formula I copy and I'll paste. Now instead of Swiggy, I have taken equal to Swiggy. See, if I don't take equal sign, by default, it consider cross-check whether A column is equal to Swiggy. But now what I'm trying to tell to Excel, please don't do my job. I can keep my own equal sign. Who are you to keep the equal sign for me? So I don't want Excel to keep the equal sign, and I kept my own equal sign here before the Swiggy. Do you think it's going to give the same answer? If not, what is the answer? Surendra, name error. Tushar, S. Value error. Num error. I'm finding so many errors. Again, you are forgetting the basic point about the errors. Name error only comes if you put a name, if that is not matching to any cell name or defined name or range name. In this case, there is no name which is not a text. Okay, I have covered properly in the double quotation. And many people are saying value error. Value error only comes in a case if you enter an invalid argument in the function. In this case, it's asking me a range. I have taken any criteria. I have taken a criteria properly, which is a text, and I have taken a sum range. There is no problem. So there's no question of value error. So num error also, it is out of the box. Okay. So Ashok, the answer, it will be false or 0. Let me tell you the answer for this. The answer is exactly the same what it has given earlier. Let me tell you, Excel do understand this language. When you give equal sign before the Swiggy, it understood that you want to apply your own logical operator. So it has still given the correct answer. When I cover this point, your mind should go a little more elaborate. That, Mr. Saran, if I ask the question, I want to sum everything other than Swiggy. Could you please tell me what is the formula I should write if I want to sum everything other than Swiggy? Simple. Earlier you have taken equal sign, it understood. Now let me take not equal to sign, it has to understand. Do you think it's going to give the correct answer? 271, 910 minus 55435 must be the answer. Do you think it understands this? Of course, logic is a logic. It should work. Let me enter. It works. Now, if I copy and paste this, this is the formula already. To cross check whether it is correct or wrong, just for you, let me go up and subtract. It absolutely works. Yeah. Savinai, no, those symbols will not work. Not equal to means less than and greater than symbol, that's all. Right? Now, I have one more question. Let me go a little elaborate on this. Let me cut this and paste it. Now, friends, let me copy this and paste it. We all know that it is giving me the Swiggy total. I know that. My question is, if I change this to Zomato, if I enter, do you think this will give other than Zomato total? Please put the answer in the chat box. Do you think it's going to give other than Zomato total? This one? No. Why? What is the reason? Mr. Sharan, you have taken a constant Swiggy. So that's the reason it is not giving you the correct answer. This is a wrong answer. So what I need to do in this case, let me copy this and paste. If that is the case, what I should do? What is the method I want to follow so that if I change this value has to change automatically. Let me remove this. Let me select this. Is it correct method? Do you think now I'll get the correct answer? Vidyalakshmi, yes. Everyone is saying yes. Let me tell you a very important rule that if you keep something into the double quotation, that's a pure text. You know how Excel understands this part? It is trying to check whether any company is not equal to H28 text. Is there any company not equal to H28 text? Of course, every company is not equal to H28 text. H28 is not a reference here because you kept in the double quotation. H28 is a pure text. If that is the case, since every company is not equal to H28 text, my answer will equal to the grand total. No surprise. Check it out. Your grand total is 271910. This is 271910. But still, you did not answer my question. My question is, if I change this value, this should change automatically. So you asked me to keep this, but it has not given me correct answer. Now what I need to do? If I change this value, this should change automatically. What I need to do? Simple, sir. We all are chartered accountants. Yeah, I got the point. Suryakant, remove double quotation. We are the best in trial and error. I know. So, how many of you think that it's going to give the correct answer now? you have to go back to my rules of the functions and rules of the formula, which I have covered on the third day. You know what I have covered in the rules of the functions and rules of the formula? An argument must be either a number or a text or a Boolean value or a cell reference or a range or a defined name or any formula or an array or any other function. That's all. I did not cover anything other than this. First of all, Excel doesn't understand the meaning of it. You kept it independently, not equal to H28. What is not equal to? You have to cover this in the double quotation for sure. But if you cover this in the double quotation, this is a text and this is a cell reference. It must be either a number or a text or a Boolean value or a cell reference. How can an argument can be the combination of both cell reference and text? It will not work. So what I need to do now, we already covered one important symbol in the keyboard, that is the AND symbol. Once I keep the AND symbol, this becomes a cell reference. Now, this argument is a defined name. This argument is a formula. A formula can have a text join with the cell reference. There is no problem. You know, only this piece gives you what is the answer at the back end. Simple. I'm joining two text items together. One is not equal to, the other one is Zomato. At the back end, if I put F9, F9 is the shortcut to see what is the answer at the back end. If I put F9, it joined these two. So when I select this part, this is decoding of re-engineering of the formula. If I want to know the answer for this small piece, then I need not to copy this and paste into the separate cell to see what is the answer. You can simply put F9. So at the back end, this formula understands like this. Okay, understands like this. In fact, this gives you the answer of Zomato, not equal to Zomato total. Exactly. Let me enter. Wow. If I take it, Fasus not equal to Fasus. Why? Because now this is changing at the back end is not equal to Fasus. If I make it Food Panda not equal to Food Panda total, it's going to give as simple as it. I hope everyone understood the logic out of this formula. Now, see, there is a lot of difference between keeping an equal sign, without equal sign, not equal to, and this one and this one. Everything having its own meaning. The last one is, this one is the correct one actually. Even this is the wrong one. This gives you the correct answer if you change this value. Friends, and symbol plays very much vital role in MS Excel formulas, right? Till here, if you have any question, please let me know. Now, let me cover a small concept and I'll come back. Actually, this is part of another day session, but anyway, since there is a relevance here, let me cover. The concept which I'm planning to cover is wildcards. The concept of wildcard is wildcard character. In Excel, there are so many characters, we call it as a wildcard characters. Right? There are three characters basically I consider as a wildcard character. One is question mark, the other one is asterisk, the other one is tilde symbol. This symbol you can find below the escape. Question mark means one character, any one character. Asterisk means any n characters. N can be even 0 or even infinite. Anything in between, right? So n number of characters, n can be between 0 and infinite. Okay, n can be 0 or even infinite or between 0 and infinite. Right? I'll talk about this little later. First, let us try to understand these two. In MS Excel, question mark having its own meaning, asterisk having its own meaning. Question mark means any one character. Okay, this is a definite character. Any one character. So one character has to be there. Asterisk means asterisk can replace anything in this world. It can be nothing also. It can be 0 characters, 10 characters, 20 characters, 1,000, billion, 1 billion, 1,000 billions also possible, right? Let me go down. Let me explain a little further what exactly the meaning of this. I'll take more case studies on this. Let me take a question mark A. Friends, what is the meaning of this? Can anyone tell? This must be 3 character text, first of all. Middle, first and last, third character must be A. Second character can be anything, right? So can you give me an example which can fit into this A question mark A? Simple, triple A. So first character is A, last character is A, middle character can be anything. So I kept as A. A possible, A1A possible, A8A possible, anything. You can put A exclamation A possible. I said any character, right? Even exclamation is one of the character. We know the character function and code function. So that is the meaning of this. Now, what do you mean by question mark, A question mark? Can anyone put in the chat box? I request everyone, please put in the chat box. What do you mean by question mark, A question mark? Simple. This text must have 3 characters. Middle character must be A. Okay. Anything, A, anything. That's right. So take an example. Everything comes here, A, 1A2, 1A2, 1A2. You can put anything, ZAA, ZA8, 8A8, anything you can take it which falls into this example. Now let me take one more example. What do you mean by question mark, question mark, question mark? Any 3 character text. Everything which is here will come here. That is also part here. Sorry. Yeah. Anything which comes here can also be part here. Why? You know that? Why it is? Because all are 3 characters. Along with that, you can take n number of items. Okay. Any 3 character. But will it be 1, 2, 3? Is it possible to have this? This is wrong. You cannot. But I told you that it must be a number. After using wildcard, the result must be the number. Sorry, must be the text. That's the reason I have used the words here. Any 3 character text. I did not say any 3 character. Because if you use the wildcard, after the wildcard, the result has to be a text. One of the very important point you need to understand. These all are the examples using question mark. Let me take one example using asterisk. Now, friends, if I put a asterisk, A asterisk, what is the meaning of it? So it can be single quote 1, 2, 3 because it's a text possible. Yes, Divyansh, this is possible, but this is not possible. Could you please tell me what is the meaning of this? This meaning is very simple. Asterisk can be anything. Second asterisk also can be anything. A must be there. So the meaning of this is A44 possible? Where? Here? In this case, it's possible. Because A44 is a text. A44 is possible. A44 is a text, right? So the meaning of this is anything must contain A. Is this correct sentence for this? Yes. It can include Sharon, Banana, Samantha, Rakul, Kajal. Okay, you can take any name in this world. Sachin, Arun, 1, 2, 3, A, 1, 2, 3, or else simple A also fine, because this asterisk can be nothing. This asterisk also can be nothing. This is also possible. I hope you got the point. I'm covering one important topic called wildcard. Everyone please concentrate. Could you please tell me what is the meaning of this? If I take A asterisk A, what is the meaning of it? Anything that must start with A and ends with A. Right? What do you mean by this? A, possible. Aruna, possible. Anita, possible. Akanksha, possible. America, possible. Anything. A, you can have this A possible. Right? The last one, let me ask you the final question. Question mark A asterisk. What do you mean by this? Any text must contain at least 2 characters, and the second must be A. Is it correct? Of course. Because I said question mark. Question mark means one character has to be there. And I said A also, definite character. So question mark A asterisk. So this includes Saran, Banana, Samantha, Sachin, Rakul, Kajal. Check it out. So many actor and actress names are with A, right? You can take any example. Okay, I'm not going much deeper into that. So this is the way the wildcard works. I know that the question immediately in your mind, where we can use this. Don't worry. Let me go back. Now, if I ask you the question, or else if I want to get the result like this, I want to add all the companies having OO in the company name. Could you please tell me how many companies are having OO in the company name? Asterisk, OO, asterisk. 2 companies. One is Food Panda, the other one is Fasus. No, Zomato is not having OO. It's having O and some text and again O. I said OO one after other. Now what I'll do, I'll write the same function. Sumif, look into the company column for this criteria. Total the values in the sales column. Do you think I'll get the total of Fasus and Food Panda? Absolutely, because Excel do understand this language. Excel do understand this language that because asterisk OO asterisk out of the company column, only 2 companies fits into that definition. So let me just cross check whether this is correct or wrong. Let me go and put here, so you'll get exactly the same answer. Now, for example, if I take one more asterisk here, could you please tell me what may come? Could you please tell me what may come? It's 3 companies. Now, Zomato also can be part of it. Of course, let's go here. You know where this is important? Don't worry, we'll cover a case study. Let's take this, let's take this, and let's take this. Wonderful. Now let me combine 2 things. Now let me take this one. Now if I put before this not equal to, see now I am covering the constant along with the wildcard using the logical operator. I am taking you deeper into the functions. Now if I enter, I'll get other than the companies having O and O, 2 O's. So other than having 2 O's, only 2 companies are there. One is Swiggy, the other one is Uber Eats. Cross check whether this is correct or wrong. Let me go here. Swiggy and this one is Uber Eats. In fact, when I ask you, when I say that, let's cross check whether it is giving correct or wrong. Many people are waiting for the answer. Ideally, when I say that can be cross check, you all should say don't cross check, because we have to trust Excel. As long as if I write the correct answer, correct formula, the answer has to be correct. Okay, so let me go a little further. Now you can play around this. You can play with this data. Friends, this is a very simple part of it. To make frauds in Excel, you know what they do? They don't do a lot of rocket science. Let's say this is the data the company would like to provide it to me. They know that if I want to get the Swiki, I want to use the Sumif function, or already they have written a Sumif function and they have given the data to me, this summary. If I don't want this value to be part of my total, then what I should do? This is a old style, keeping a single quote, right? Then what I should do? Can you tell me? Simple. I'll go to Swiggy. I'll put space here. Now I'll enter. Now check it out. 696 will get reduced from this value. Why? The reason is very simple. Swiggy space will never match with Swiggy. In fact, we have taken very elaborate session on this. How space can create a bigger problem. Now, let me give you here two spaces. Enter. Even 298 is also out. Now, let me take three spaces. 1 second. Let me take wherever the Swiggy is there. Three spaces. This is also out. This is also subtracted from my total. No, from my Swiggy. Let me take this one. Now, let me take this one a question mark. Because I'm only looking for Swiggy, this one. This is a Swiggy question mark. Check it out. This also got out. Now let me take asterisk, Swiggy asterisk, this one. 940. Again, this will get reduced from Swiggy. Try to understand. There are 5 values got reduced. Swiggy space, Swiggy double space, Swiggy triple space, then Swiggy question mark, and Swiggy asterisk. Now let me put, just for your information, equal to Sumif, look into the company column for this, total values in the sales column, I'll get my answer like this. If anyone having any question, please let me know. I request you, please let me know if you have any question. For your information, this got reduced all these 4 values. Sir, is there any formula to remove all the unwanted space? I already told you there is a function called trim. We can use the trims function to remove all the following spaces, leading spaces, extra spaces between 2 words. Friends, now could you please tell me if I want to get the entire total of Swiggy irrespective of the spaces? What I need to do, could you please tell me? I want to get my answer considering every Swiggy. Simple. I can put Swiggy, then I'll put asterisk. Now if I copy paste this formula, could you please tell me what will happen? All these 5 values which I have highlighted also can be part into my total. You know why? Because asterisk can be anything. Even space is also there, let it come. Double space also there, let it come. Triple space also there, let it come. Question mark is a text, let it come. You know, the difference between this and this is nothing but all these 5 values. This and this and this. Wait. This and finally this. Don't worry, it is absolutely correct. I hope you are getting the logics, right? Is space a character? Radha ma'am. Yes, of course it's a character. I have covered while I was talking about the 4th day. I think 4th day I covered this point very elaborately along with the startup functions. I request you to please look into my working notes of 4th day session. In fact, I have covered very elaborate on code function, character function also. Right? So if this is very much required, you know, when, let me go here. Many a times we get this problem. We get a vendor name. Yeah, we get a vendor name. Now let me go to the amount here. I got a company called ABC Services Private Limited. There is one more company called ABC Services. Same company, in fact, but because of my staff mistake, he updated this name, and some other place he updated as in bracket P LTD. In some place he updated as a private LTD dot. In some other place he updated like PVT LTD dot, and some other place he kept in a different methods and so on. If I go here, if I take equal to rand between 100,000, copy paste special values. Normally, what we think, well, let's say we got a source from other source, and we would like to get the total of this company, and we put equal to Sumif. Look into this range for this value and total the values in the column of this. We are thinking that everything is nice and we'll get the correct answer, but unfortunately we get wrong answer. You know why? Because of our staff, different places he entered a different name. If this is the case, what is the best method we can follow? You can put ABC services just copy and paste, you get correct answer. Just take it out. This is the total 3071. But there may be a problem also if you do like this. Let's say there is a company ABC Services Consulting Private Limited. Even Excel consider this one also, which is wrong actually. But that you need to look into. This is required, when in case of data mining, when I am trying to work with the data, I must be very careful how it has to work. And in the forensic audits where I use, I do some of the forensic audits, some of the transaction audits as per the IBC. When use data is there, I want to know the total of private limited companies, PVT Ltd, and I want to know only the limited companies. So I can put limited companies only. I can put maybe LLPs and so on. Maximum private limited, LLP, or OPC. These all three we can find, right? If that is the case, I can put the same function, private limited asterisk, before this put asterisk. Or else LLP after this, if any spaces are there, mistaken, asterisk. This one also, if you put asterisk, you will get it. Or else you can remove the asterisk here. So that if I use this, what is the meaning of a total all the companies? Let me write a text here. Total all the companies ends with PVT Ltd. Total all the companies ends with LLP. Total all the companies having OPC, contains OPC rather. Right? So this is the way we use the function. So friends, my only point of taking very much elaborate the conditional functions, that don't just learn the function, understand the essence of the function. And always try to mix 2 to 3 concepts together, so that in a real-time scenario, you can work better. So where to look at the files from your previous classes? Yeah, friends, you can go to the Vijayawada branch of SIRC website. You can find a playlist, and each video you'll find the material in the description. Okay, Shampiraj, I think I answered your question. Now let me go and work with some other small concept. While I was talking about wildcard, I told you intentionally that I'll talk about this little later. Now let me talk about what is the meaning of this wildcard. It's very simple. Let me go here. Friends, when I put Swiggy question mark, if I put a function called Sumif, look into the company column for this, total the values in the sales column, I request you please answer what may be the answer. I request you to answer in this case. I request you please answer what may come if I enter, or else at least explain what can be part of this criteria. So the meaning of Swiggy question mark is, after the Swiggy, there must be one character. After the Swiggy, there must be one character. Out of this entire company column, only at 3 instances after the Swiggy, one character is there. You know what? Swiggy space, then Swiggy question mark. There is a text called Swiggy question mark, and there is a text called Swiggy asterisk. So the total of all these three is nothing but my answer. Just to cross check whether this is correct or wrong, let me go here. Let me take this plus, let me take this plus, let me take this, because it's having only one question mark. Absolutely magic. You can ask me why, Sharon, these are remaining all Swiggies it has not taken, because I specifically told that it must have extra character after Swiggy, only at 3 places. But you can count the question that, Mr. Sharon, Swiggy question mark is readily available here. But when you put a Swiggy question mark, you got a different answer. My intention of putting Swiggy question mark is that I want to take only this text. I hope you get my point. So don't confuse. Question mark, if you take it, by default, it understands that it's a wildcard. Asterisk, if you keep it, by default, it understands that it's a wildcard. But in this case, question mark is part of my text. My intention of writing Swiggy question mark as a criteria means I want to get 145 as an answer. But in this case, I have only it has considered even Swiggy asterisk also, but which is wrong. What Excel is saying, Mr. Saran, if you put Swiggy question mark, I consider this question mark as a wild card. But if you want to consider this question mark as a pure text, I don't want to consider this question mark as a wild card. I want to consider this as a pure text. What I need to do? Simple. Put a tilde symbol before question mark. Put a tilde symbol before question mark. The meaning is, now this wildcard converts as a normal text. Okay. Now let me copy and paste this formula. So you got 145 only. Now, you know, if I want to get only Swiggy asterisk, what I want to get, if this gives me everything. But if I put a tilde, could you please tell me what maybe the answer it's going to give? Put in the chat box. I request you members, please tell me what maybe the answer it's going to give. Because now asterisk means a pure text, it doesn't know that it's a wildcard because I started with a tilde symbol. Now my answer is 940. So tilde is a wildcard which converts the above two text, two wildcards as normal text. As simple as it. Any question, anyone? Please let me know. Wonderful. What if Swiggy double question? You should tell me. If I put Swiggy double question mark, if I copy and paste this, I am 100% sure my answer will be Swiggy double space, only one value answer. I'll also give you the answer. Wait. So my answer would be 278. You want to check exactly. Because the meaning of this is get a two characters after the Swiggy. Out of my entire column, the only place where I get two characters after Swiggy is Swiggy double space. Divyansh, I hope you got the point, right? Can I go ahead? Yes, thank you. So now, wait, till now I was only looking into the company column. Now let us take another couple of examples looking into area column and so on. Even you can take asterisk TH. Now I want to look into the Sumif, look into the area column. For this, total the values in the sales column. Could you please tell me what may be the answer? What may be the answer? look into the area column, asterisk th. That means both of north and south. Wow, wonderful. If I put not equal to asterisk st, then if I copy and paste, tell me what is the answer? What is the answer? Same answer. Why? Because asterisk st means east and west. I said not equal to, then north and south is the same answer. See, we are just playing with the data. If anyone are having any question, please let me know. I'm just trying to put the same format because if comma is not there, I get a lot of disturbance. Yeah. Now I want to look into the date related. I want to know greater than or equal to 1st January 2019. Then you know what I can simply do. I can ask the question, look into the Sumif function, look into the date column for this, and total the values in the sales column. My answer is this. So greater than or equal to 1st January 2019 is 28954. Now I want to know greater than or equal to 900. Out of the sales column, whatever the amounts which are greater than or equal to 900, I want to get the Sumif. Look into the Sumif. Then a sales column. Then look into this criteria. I need to total that sales column again. So enter, copy and paste. Now copy this and paste special format. Same format will come. So I want to look into this column for greater than or equal to 900 and total the values from the same column. Then you will get this answer. Friends, let me tell you all, next week I'm going to conduct the assessment test on the topic which I'm covering today. And till now, all the assessment tests I have covered, which I have covered in the class, the topics. But next assessment test, I'll also ask some points which I have not covered even in the class. That means I request you to go back, look into the nook and corner of every item. Okay, so if you practice well, then only you can understand that point. Next time onwards, the assessment test will be little tricky and a little complex. It's not gonna be that simple because many people can open my previous working file and you can answer the questions till now. But from next week onwards, I may even ask the question which probably I may not cover. I might have not covered in the previous session. But if you practice it, you can easily understand that. Okay, so let me go a little further. This is the way the Sumif function works. Since I already covered Sumif, now I can even get even for now. Let's say I want to get the Swiggy total. I want to know the Sumif for this. I want to know Countif for this. I want to know average for this. What is a function? Simple. Now this is a criteria equal to Sumif. Look into the company column. You know what? For this, total the values in the sales column. You got the sum of this, right? But if I want to know the count, it's very simple. The function is Countif. I'll just go here. Countif. I think your mind should tell you something now. Mr. Saran, if you want to count, you need not to give me what you want to sum. So let me take this. Yeah. So Countif, look into the company column. For what? For this, it is only having 2 arguments, whereas the Sumif function has 3 arguments. Why you know? Because in the Sumif function, along with the criteria range, I should also ask the Excel which column I have to sum. In the Countif function, I need not to ask Excel what column it has to sum because I don't want to sum. I just want to count how many values are there. So in the company column, all the truths it's going to sum. Enter. Average function. You know what? Equal to average if, exactly like Sumif, but the only difference is it's going to take the average range. Now, what is a company? What is a column? I should look into the company column for what? For Swiggy and total the values in the sales column. Now you know what Excel do. It take all the Swiggy values, then it's going to take the average of it. See, 552.831 is the average of the Swiggy. right? So let me copy this and paste it below. Simple. That's the reason I told you, if you learn the function end to end, one function, remaining functions are like bonus for you. If you have any question, please let me know. Till here. Great. Now, friends, yeah, now let me take this case study again separately. Now copy this and let me go here. Paste special values, paste special, yeah, paste special values. Now I want to take a separate data. This one let me put into the date format. Now this one let me put equal to the random green. I want to have a fresh data. Copy paste special values. Now let me have a random green. I want to have a date function because it done 1 1. Date function because 19 12 31st. If you know the Excel, you can even play with the data. Don't worry. So there's a date function open bracket is missing. This is also date function open bracket is missing. Right? So there's a fresh data with me. Now I want to have a defined name. So all 4 defined names. Now this time I want to give the defined name for this as just a CO, because already company I kept for earlier case study. This one let me take it as a AR, that means area. Let me take for this as a DT, that means date, and let me take for this as the sales, SA. Okay. Now there are 4 defined names along with company, area, date, and sales. There are 4 more defined names we have, that is CO, AR, DA, and sales. Let me go here. So AR, CO, DT, and SA. Let me close this. Right? Let us look into the sum ifs function. Before that, let me have grand total equal to sum of SA. My answer is this. Why sum ifs is required? Because in case of more than one criteria. Now, if I ask you the question, I want to get the Swiggy total. Now there is a space, right? I don't want the space there. Now I want to get the Swiggy total from the east side. Concentrate. Get the Swiggy total from the east side. How many criteria are there? There are 2 criteria. You know, manually, what are the steps we follow? Could you please tell me? 1, we look into the company column. 2, for Swiggy. Then we look into the area column for east. Then total the values in the sales column where both above criteria met. Wonderful. So this must be one argument. Even in my Excel, this must be one more argument I should tell to Excel. This is also one more argument. This is also one more argument. And this may be one more argument. So without even looking into the question, I can say that in this case study, we must enter 5 arguments. You know what are they? Anyway, one argument is mandatory. Could you please tell me what is that argument? It is sum range. Which column you want to sum is anyway mandatory, right? Criteria range 1. First, you should always give in which column you should look for. Criteria range 1. In this criteria, what do you want to look? Criteria 1. Then I should go for criteria range 2. Then I should go for criteria range 3. In the present case, there is no criteria range 3 because only 2 criteria are there. Could you please answer the question? In case of 5 criteria, how many arguments we may need to enter in Sumif's function? In case of 5 criteria are there, how many arguments I need to enter? Everyone are giving wrong answers. Tushar only given correct answer. The answer must be 11 because as I told you, one sum range, 5 criteria ranges, and 5 criteria, right? So total 11. For example, in case of 25 criteria, how many arguments? It's 51. Simple. 25 into 2 plus 1. Okay, as simple as it. Don't worry, let's go into our case study, Swiggy East. Now, friends, I want to get the total in case of Swiggy, in case of East, what must be the answer? Let me use some ifs in this case. Why? First of all, you need to use the sum ifs because more than one criteria is there. What is the first argument? Sharon, which column value you want to sum? Sum range. Don't confuse. In case of Sumif function, sum range is the last argument. But in case of some ifs function, sum range is the first argument. You know, my sum range is SA. What is the criteria range 1? That means in which column you should look for criteria 1? Which company? CO. For what? For Swiggy, comma. Criteria range 2, I should look into which column? Area column, AR. For what? For this, close bracket. If you ask me, put into a proper language, could you please look into this column for this? Sorry, could you please sum the values in this column by looking into this column for Swiggy, by looking into this column for East? If both criteria are matching, it's going to give me the answer. Right? Just to see what is the answer it's going to give in the other areas. So what I'll be doing, you know what? If I copy and paste, you know what is the problem? Because it's referring the Swiggy here, below there is no Swiggy. So to make it constant, what I can do? I can just select this and put a 4. Now if I copy and paste, G28 will become G29. That means for the area, it will look for the west. In case of area, it look for the south, north. So this is Swiggy East, Swiggy West, Swiggy South, Swiggy North. So if I write a simple formula, this joined with total, so this is what my subtotal is. If anyone having any question, please let me know. Okay, so now just to cross check whether this is correct or wrong, I use a Sumif function. Look into the company column for Swiggy, total the values in the sales column. So if you're not trusting me, obviously you may find wrong answer. As long as you trust me, it gives the correct answer. Trust is very important. So let us all trust MS Excel. As long as you trust, it never goes wrong. If you have a doubt on Excel, it always gives the wrong values. Okay. So this is the way the sum ifs function works. Now what I'll do, directly I'll jump into the complex case study. As I told you, sum ifs can even work for more than one criteria. Now I want to take, okay, now I want to take not equal to Zomato, greater than, sorry, asterisk TH, greater than or equal to 1st April 2017, less than or equal to 31st March 2018. One more criteria, greater than or equal to 250, less than or equal to 500. How many criteria are there? This is the criteria 1. This is criteria 2. And this is criteria 3 and criteria 4, criteria 5 and criteria 6. There are 6 criteria. You know, for each criteria, what is a criteria range? So criteria range 1 for this, you know what? Simple. Okay, let me take a criteria range 2. Now let me drag this down. so that you can even find what do you mean by the criteria ranges here. Don't confuse. Yeah, right. Now, could you please tell me what may be the criteria range in this case? Company column. In this case, area column. In this case, date column. In this case, DA column, date column. In this case, sales column. In this case, sales column. Simple. You know the sum range? Sum range is very simple. That is sales column. Now, can I write a formula to get the correct answer following all these criteria? I'll give you 2 minutes. Could you please put in the chat box what may be the answer? What may be the formula in this case? Answer formula. It's gonna be very simple. Don't worry. I'll cover this. Don't worry. Simple. You need to give everything one after other equal to sum ifs. What is the sum range? SA, comma. What is the criteria range 1? Look into the company column for this. Look into the area column for this. Look into the date column for this. And again, look into the date column for this. And look into the sales column for this. And look into the sales column for this. You know, if I am explaining this formula in a plain language to the Excel, could you please look into the, oh, I think it's not DA, it is DT, date column, it's DT. Sorry, I forget my defining. Yeah. So the question is, total the values in the sales column by looking to the company column for not equal to Zomato, by looking to the area column for ends with DH, again by looking to the date column for greater than or equal to 1st April 2017, again by looking to the same column for less than or equal to 31st March 2018, looking into the sales column for greater than or equal to 250, and also looking to the same column for less than or equal to 500. Do you think I'll get the correct answer if I enter? Do you have trust on the Excel? Do you think I'll get the correct answer if I enter? Absolutely. 2951. You know, the advantage of this is why I'm covering this one. Many a times in the dashboards, people use the Sumif function. They'll put the criteria here and they'll keep on the manager or CEO or whoever the person, they'll just change the values here based on that, they'll get the total. Simple. Right? So in this case, now I want to get, for example, greater than or equal to 400. Greater than or equal to 450. Greater than or equal to 475. See, now I can say that only one record following all these criteria. Because I said 475 to 500, 478. By following all these criteria, only out of this data, one record is there. Just to cross check whether it is correct or wrong, what I'll do, I'll put the filter on the top. Other than Zomato, I said, then ends with TH. Is it? I forget the criteria. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Not equal to Zomato, ends with TH. Yeah. Right? Ends with TH. So north and south. Then I need to take the financial year 17-18. So let me select everything. Now let me remove February and March. And let me select only January, February, and March out of the dates. I said 475 to 500. I'm sure only one figure must be there. I'm sure you all are observing it is 478. This is the only record following all the criteria. But instead of myself looking into these many, I'm just going and writing a small formula. Now, you know, if I take asterisk, of this, if I take, you know, asterisk, if I take asterisk, everything is asterisk. Because why asterisk is not working here? Till here it worked perfectly. But when I put asterisk, it's not working. You know why? The reason? Because the date is a text all the time. But since you kept an asterisk, I told you a rule that if you want to use the wildcard, the result of the wildcard must be the text. So it is looking into the date column for a asterisk, which is a text. So it is not getting correct answer. So I can play with this data. Now you can put only Swiggy, only fast. Now greater than or equal to, let's say I want to take 2 financial years, 2016. Now I want to take greater than or equal to 500 and less than or equal to 750 and so on. So what they do when they have a very big data, they'll just change these values. Once I write the formula, this is standard, as simple as it. If anyone having any question, please let me know. Can we see precedent and dependent of this answer? Unfortunately, you cannot, because the problem is, let me keep this. You can only find the correct, because I have taken a reference to this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Exactly those references work. See it out. And it has taken a sales range. It is trying to give the first value out of it. This you may not find, very elaborate to understand, but it's okay. You can at least find the arrows to cross it. Okay, so this one is basically this arrow, and you can just interpret. Any question? This is the way we work with some if and some ifs. So this is some ifs case study. This is some if case study. Okay. And friends, little another 10 to 15 to 20 minutes, the topic is pending for today's session because I have to cover a couple of other small things. Don't worry, in the next week I'm going to cover. My humble request for all of you, please practice. Because next week, when I give the assessment test on today's topic, yeah. So whoever having the question, you can start posing, I can start answering the questions. But my only point is next week assessment test is not that simple. Is not that simple. Unless you practice, you cannot understand. Let me also tell you the disclaimer here. Friends, Excel is an ocean. Even if you ask me to speak for hundreds of hours, even then some or other topic is pending. I am here to give you the logics, rules, principles based on which how the entire Excel works. Considering those logics and rules, now you can go a little deeper into the subject and you can understand on your own. So next week, I'm going to give the questions in such a way, only the people who practiced can answer. The people who did not practice, who will not be practicing, they may not answer. Clean function to be used to remove the non-printable characters, Kasturi. Non-printable character means from 1 to 32 code as per ASCII. Sir, I have a question little off the topic. During the bank audit in certain topic, reports trim function is not working to remove some unwanted characters. So how to remove those characters? I covered in the day 3 session about startup functions. There I have covered very elaborately. So trim function removes the spaces, removes the extra spaces. Those includes between two words, leading spaces, following spaces. Whereas clean function removes non-printable characters, all non-printable characters. In the bank audit, even when you use trim function, if a character is not removing, then you better use the clean function. That may be looking like a space, but it's not a space, for your information. Every time when something looks like a space, may not be a space, that may be some different character. You may not know what exactly it is, but it appears like a space only. Okay. If anyone having any question, please let me know. Thank you so much for your participation. Let me stop sharing. I'll share this material to the WhatsApp groups, and I'm sure they'll keep it into the YouTube. Chairman, sir, are you there online? Anyone from Vijayawada branch? I'm sure Chairman sir is available. Guys, thank you so much. But we are going into little advanced topics. I request you please practice. Without practicing, I'm sure your time is waste. In fact, my time is also waste. Vijayawada branch kept this entire workshop very lively for 25 days. Don't worry, we'll cover almost everything which is required as a chartered accountant to you. Thank you so much, guys. We'll just sign off. I think no one is available from the Vijayawada branch. Maybe they are into some other meeting. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Chairman, sir, are you there in the session?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. You're taking the entire session in a fast track mode and really great, sir.
Sure, sir.
Thank you very much. Friends, that's all for the now. And we will meet in the next week, Saturday. Okay. Tomorrow there is a session in the public speaking by 11 o'clock. Please join without fail. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.